This weekend, Mingzai decided to take Grandma Liu to a bar to see if she could chat casually with foreigners. At first, Grandma Liu was as nervous as a rabbit, but after a few conversations, she seemed to turn into a superstar, chatting up a storm with the foreigners. Before they knew it, her English improved drastically. One day, Mingzai took his brother to Grandma Liu's for dinner. Grandma Liu, happily munching on her instant noodles, lit up like a Christmas tree when she saw them. She immediately whipped up a feast for them, showcasing her master chef skills. In that moment, the two kids who lost their parents finally felt the warmth of family, and seeing them enjoy the food made Grandma Liu's heart bloom. Alone at home, Grandma Liu felt warmth like never before. After dinner, the three chatted, discovering why Grandma Liu had been learning English. Her brother had been missing in the US for years, and she wanted to know about his life, but the language barrier left her in the dark. Mingzai found his contact information on the back of a photo, so the next day, he dialed the number, but Grandma's brother's reaction left them stunned. "Akio, I really don't want to talk to her. Please stop calling. I don't remember her." That phone call felt like a ton of bricks crushing Mingzai's heart since Grandma Liu's brother didn't want any contact. So, Grandma Liu had no reason to keep learning. But to spare her feelings, Mingzai lied that he had exams and decided not to teach. A few days later, Grandma Liu received news that her good friend Jiang Xin was in the hospital, and she discovered Jiang Xin was seriously ill. It was evident that she was near the end, yet Jiang Xin clung to one last wish she earnestly hoped Grandma Liu could fulfill for her. Grandma Liu seemed to already know that wish but acted unusually heavy-hearted. That day, she returned to the petition office and inadvertently overheard a conversation. It turned out that the greedy developers pushing for their relocation were in cahoots with the government. Furious like a volcano upon hearing the truth, Grandma Liu rushed to the petition office to retrieve her hard-earned evidence against the developer. But she learned from the staff that her evidence had already been destroyed by Mingzai. Grandma Liu was about to explode. She collected evidence not out of nosiness, but because she didn't want the vendors to lose their livelihoods. Over the years, these vendors had become her family, which is why she stood against the developers. Grandma Liu kept asking Mingzai why did he do that. In her emotional upheaval, she couldn't help but slap Mingzai. Ironically, the slap provoked Mingzai, who finally blurted out that Grandma Liu's brother wanted nothing to do with her. Overwhelmed by the double blow, Grandma Liu felt her heart shatter and collapsed to the ground. Her younger brother witnessed all this and later told Mingzai everything. "Why are you so lonely, bruh? You can't treat me like this." Knowing the truth filled Mingzai with guilt, so the next day he went to the office database to find the complaint materials Grandma Liu submitted. Countless letters recorded what seemed like small matters, but encompassed Grandma Liu's hope and guardianship of the marketplace. He went to the market to apologize to Grandma Liu, but ran into the developers, bullying the vendors instead. At a critical moment, Mingzai bravely stepped in to help the vendors drive off the developers. But when he arrived at Grandma Liu's sewing shop, he found it already closed. No one had any idea where she had disappeared to, and in the meantime, Grandma Liu had already quietly arrived at Grandma Jiang Xin's hospital. It turned out Jiang Xin's illness had suddenly worsened, and she had previously been suffering from Alzheimer's, known as senility. She had written a letter to Grandma Liu while briefly lucid. Reading Jiang Xin's farewell letter, Grandma Liu was heartbroken. Just then a man walked in. He introduced himself as a reporter from the Just Daily, who had come at the invitation of the H2121 Alliance. The H2121 Alliance is a coalition of several rights organizations aiming to enforce U.S. Resolution 121. The resolution seeks to compel Japan to apologize for crimes against humanity. Upon hearing this, Grandma Liu's long-hidden secret finally came to light. A few days later, a shocking news broke online about Grandma Liu's upcoming trip to the U.S. to attend a Comfort Women hearing. This news spread like wildfire, shocking everyone who knew her, as they never imagined that this meddlesome lady had such a tragic past. Meanwhile, Grandma Liu was alone at her mother's grave, releasing years of pent-up grievances and sadness. Only her family and friends knew that she had been a comfort woman, and her mother urged her to keep it a secret. This filled her with shame. Even before her mother died, she never uttered a word of sympathy. She couldn't understand why, despite being the victim, she ultimately ended up bearing all the blame and accusations. That night, when she returned to the market, she noticed her best friend Pearl had strangely begun to avoid her. This left her feeling both sad and frustrated. Later that night, guilt-ridden Mingzai visited Grandma Liu's sewing shop, where she had already shut out all light. He couldn't imagine how Grandma Liu had endured all those years, and she didn't truly harbor any anger towards Mingzai. Instead, she gave Mingzai a gentle pat as if to comfort him. Subsequently, Grandma Liu went through her possessions with great effort, eventually pulling out a long-forgotten old photograph from an old box. This photo captured the victims who suffered alongside Grandma Liu, and both she and Jiang Xin were prominently featured.